Afternoon, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is April 24th, 2018. Hope everyone's having a good day. I have a short video here that's important. I want to just go ahead and update people on. I have gotten some additional information this morning from the US Secretary of the Treasury. I am under the understanding that within some of the packages, there are people that are being instructed to draft a letter that looks very similar to this example letter that I'm showing you right now. They are instructing you to write the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury. They are instructing you to request that the U.S. Secretary of Treasury or the head of the Treasury open a Treasury direct account and place all funds that have been located within the Treasury direct calculator or fidelity calculators, which you think belong to you, but indeed they actually do not, and place those funds within a Treasury direct account. I want to let you guys know that if you have or are planning to send a letter out of this nature, what to expect and anticipate. If this letter is forwarded out, you are going to receive a letter back that looks like this. It will have the seal of the Department of Treasury on it, and it will look very similar to the one in the video that I am actually using as an example here, in order for you to just kind of see what it is that you would be getting. This is not going to be a form letter that you would be receiving from the IRS. This is going to be a letter that is actually signed by the Council of the Department of Treasury. It is going to have the seal of the Office of the Inspector General on it. Chances are it will probably come certified mail to you, if not registered mail to you. It's going to state that they have received evidence at the office that you have attempted to establish a claim against the Treasury Department by fraudulently submitting documents in an attempt to assert ownership over a Treasury securities account purportedly identified by your Social Security number or your birth certificate. They're going to explain to you that there's no legal validity to it and that it is not payable through any federal or state agency. And then they are going to inform you that you have committed fraud, that you have in fact broken the law. They are going to cite you with some information with regards to different cases that this has occurred, and they're going to give you the actual Treasury codes and statutes that this would apply to, that you can contact your attorney with in order to get representation. The letter will explain to you that you have both civil and criminal penalties that can be assessed against you. The letter will explain that such claims and demands against the U.S. Treasury are wholly unfounded. Be advised that presenting documents premised upon such fraud or assisting any other individual or entity in the preparation of such a demand may subject you to both civil and criminal penalties and prosecution for presenting false claims. Okay, it'll give you the information with regards to Title 18 United States Code that you can seek competent legal counsel regarding the law and penalties applicable to these offenses. It will be signed with a wet signature by the Council of the U.S. Department of Treasury. This is not a joke, and this letter is not fake if you receive it. I would highly suggest you do not attempt to push back, as is requested by people like April Lejeune. If you receive a letter of this sort, you need to take it seriously and contact an attorney. First of all you have to do is take a look at the codes that are actually being cited to you, and you will see that if you indeed have instructed them to open you a Treasury direct account in order to liquidate bonds that you did not purchase and have receipt for yourself, you have actually committed bond fraud. If you push back against this, although this does not state it as just a warning, this actually is requesting for you to seek legal counsel. So what goes on beyond this point, we aren't going to know until it gets there, and it would be taken on a base-by-base personal scenario, depending on what was requested, how it was requested, and apparently based on the amount, also according to what I was instructed. There are, from what I have been able to ascertain, some very cruel individuals out there that seem to think that it's funny to instruct you to mess with the Department of Treasury. And in this scenario, you are 100% in the wrong if you have instructed them to liquidate a bond into an account for you that does not belong to you. Meaning, if you haven't purchased it and you think that this is something attached to your Social Security number or attached to your birth certificate number, you have been lied to. Hopefully, it will not take you getting arrested or being investigated by the Department of Treasury in order for you to figure this out. I'm putting this out there as a warning because I'm seeing an influx of people that are actually forwarding me information that on the letter that is being requested to be forwarded to the Treasury Department to request these things. I've now gotten 3 people that have said, "Have you seen these letters before?" Now, there's a couple of different things that I'm concerned about here, and one is that if you're married and you have a spouse that doesn't possibly maybe know what you're doing, or if you are a spouse that has a husband or a wife that is into trying to find these redemption theory secret accounts, and they decide to investigate, they're going after both parties because it's considered community property when you're married, and both of you could get in trouble. So that's one thing. The other thing is that this is something that is really going on. The $5,000 fines for attempting A for V, they're really happening. We have proof of those. It's not just the threats. There are actual penalties that are being assessed and people are being charged at this point. Now we have a scenario where we understand better where this original letter came from, and that is by requesting Treasury direct bonds to be placed in a new Treasury direct account and actually liquidated out to the party. Well, since these bonds don't belong to you, when you start requesting for Treasury direct, which is part of the Treasury Department, to liquidate bonds that belong to somebody else or still belong to the Treasury, because you've looked them up on a calculator, that really doesn't work that way, as we've gone over ad nauseum at this point. Now you have done something that is considered criminal. Please do not forward these letters to the Treasury. If you already have, you can expect this letter to be coming to you. This is not fear-mongering. This is reality. This is what's happening. The main reason for this video is just to inform everyone and hopefully stop those that haven't done it yet. But I realize that many of you feel that, us normal people that are trying to forewarn you are, somehow in some kind of big conspiracy against you. It's very disheartening because when it all plays out, just as with the person that received this letter, when it all plays out, you find out we're telling you the truth. Regardless, wanted to make sure everybody was aware. If you are looking at the possibility of forwarding a letter to the head of the Treasury requesting that they liquidate bonds that you have not purchased and are not within the receipt of yourself, think twice, please. You may want to take the time to take a look at the different cases that you can see on your screen here within this letter, and you will see what has happened in the past when people have attempted to try to do this. I think it's probably pretty clear up here for you, but if you need additional information on it, please feel free to leave the information in the comment section, or of course you can email me. So once again, this is just an update for those of you that have attempted to try to, get these Treasury direct accounts that actually don't exist. Any additional information that you guys need, please feel free to email me, virgotriad@protonmail.com. Everybody have a good day, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.